Good morning. I am student 10441211. My name is Taryn DuPont, and this is my Prog6212 Assignment 2. I thought we should start with program.cs, as that's always the first class that you get when you start. Well, not an MVC, but when you generally start class. Anyways, these are quite self-explanatory, so I'll start here, where these different roles that we were given for these scenarios are unique to either lecturer, program coordinator, or academic manager. Now, when you log in on my, I suppose, project, or well, it's not a web app because we're not publishing it, but when you log in, you will select your role and you will enter your username. Now, usually, obviously, you would enter a password and stuff, but just for part two only, made it so that you just select your role. In future versions, I assume in part three, I'll create a login where you actually have to register as well as select your role. But anyways, we go on to the pretty self-explanatory stuff. There's the map controller, there's authorization, and here we will go. I didn't actually touch absence.json since we're not actually publishing this just yet, so there should be nothing there. Yeah, I didn't really touch area as well, because each thing you will see. Here we go. You can see what I've done here. Here you go. For my notes, I made some changes here, just for more satisfying interface in general. As you can see, like with the nav bar and stuff. As you will see when I start the project, when I run the project. Privacy I didn't touch. I didn't include a privacy page, as well. I didn't think it was very necessary. It would be very simple to implement, though. You would just fill it in and just add it to the view index, so you can navigate there. The home index, pretty, because the reason this is pretty, empty. I didn't even touch this. It's because I thought it would be better to just go straight to claims, and I used that as my main homepage. So the reason that this is basically untouched, well, it is untouched, is because it just came with MVC. Forgot to clear it, but you will see here that this is where all the actual code is, because I thought that it would be better just to take you here, and it made it easier in terms of differentiating between the coordinator, manager, and lecturer, because it'll display different, well, it'll not display different, but it'll allow you to do different things based on your role. Here you can see it checks if you're a lecturer. You can create, here you can see the actual variables that will go into when you create a claim. I'll show you that when we run it as well. This is the date. So when you submit a claim, it will keep track of the day you submitted it. You will see when I do it as well. When you click on details, you'll see all that. And when whoever's using the project, when you go as a coordinator or a manager, you will see that when you go into views and stuff, and whether you approve or disapprove, it will say who is approved by, who was rejected by, and at what time. And here is the details for claims. And here you can see this is for the program coordinator and manager mostly. But a lecturer can view their details of the claim, but they cannot approve or reject it, as I will show you in a moment. You can see there's the view date. Here you go. Yes, so when a lecturer creates a claim, it'll be set to pending. I just thought it would make sense to just have it pending, obviously, because what other state is it going to be in, and then they will be able to see whether it has been accepted or rejected. Sorry, not accepted, approved, by a manager or coordinator after they have created the claim, and they can go back and check the details. Here you go. This is the create view for it. I'll show you the logic behind all this in a minute. This is pretty much just boilerplate stuff, as I'm sure you can tell. For the account, this is what handles the login page. When I implement the encryption and actual password stuff for when you register in part 3, you will this will be expanded upon. I believe, or either that or just the controller will be expanded upon. I would assume probably just mainly the controller and the model, but we shall see. Again, I didn't really touch the overview too much. Nah, pretty simple code. Claim here. These little things are because I made the unit tests here. I'll show you that in a moment. But here you go. You can see you get the ID. Oh, wait, here's the enum. Sorry, I forgot to show that. That's what the claims will claim status to be exact, as I'm sure you can read on screen. But here you go. You can find the ID, which is an integer string lecture ID as well. This is different because this will be the claim ID, and then it'll attach like the lecture ID to it. These are the required fields, and I did not make the file upload required. So why I did that originally was because I was encountering a logical error, but I fixed that and I decided to keep it as a non-requirement because it just made sense that it's a supportive document, not a required one. You know what I mean? So it felt like it was better to have it as a non-required thing. I'll show you that it works fine though in a moment. Not much code to explain here, to be honest with you. Yeah, we just have many the role and the full name. Again, this handles the login, and for part 3, this will be expanded upon with the password, which will be encrypted, etc. Application database. Here we go. Pretty simple code. Not much going on here. Here we go. Now we get to the the actual logic here. Home controller. I did start working on this when I was thinking about making the home index the actual starting point, but you know, as you can see here, because I like to work from the controller and then the view when I do this stuff. Here we go. Oh, I should actually start at the top. Sorry. Yeah, a lot of stuff that I started off using and then I changed a lot later on. So when I made this, I had continued off of part 1, and then I got to a late stage and I got to this logical error that just threw me through a loop. And so I decided to start from scratch, but I reused a lot of the code, which is why if you see a lot of using stuff that's not actually being used like this, it's because I was using it in my previous attempt, I should call it. Here you go. You'll see the authorized thing. Here you go. See, these are passed into the unit test, as you can see. There was, I think, only a total of 3 failures. I can run the test again in a moment, but I think there were only a total of 3 failures when I did my unit testing. Yeah. I'm sure you'll have seen them in a bit. Here we go. It's claims. This allows you to create and post. Here we go. This allows you to see the details. So what this does is this is gonna, all these like methods here are gonna allow you to actually interact with the buttons that are presented to you. So like it'll allow you to review your claim, you know, if you're a coordinator or a manager, or if you just want to see the details, you can do that as a lecturer, or you can you know, post your claims if you're a lecturer, stuff like that. And again, not too much going on with the account controller here, because this will mainly work with a login, but this will also, sorry, this will also account for, you know, like authentication, and will be expanded upon in part 3 when I do all that stuff here. And you can also log out, as I will show you when we actually get it. Before we do that, let me explain my unit tests here. Yeah, this was the default class. I didn't touch this at all. I originally actually had these classes in separate folders where it was like a model folder, stuff like that, just to keep it neater. And then I realized, well, I didn't realize, I was finding that it would be like at max 2 classes, and most of them would just be like 1 test class. I thought I would need more, but I didn't. So I decided to take them out of the folders and do that. So the setup at the namespaces seems a little weird. That is why, because originally it was going to be, you know, like dot, which one is this? Yeah, it was, you know, it was going to be originally like dot controllers or dot models and stuff like that. So so yeah, this is just the claims, not the status though. It gives it sample data. For example, if I can find it here. No. Where's the sample data? Yeah, here we go. Yeah. It'll enter stuff like test, and then it'll like give, you know, it's just test data to make sure it works. Yeah. Here, now this will check the status of the claims, whether it's, you know, pending, approved, or rejected. Not too much going on here. Here we go. Ah, yes. I needed ChatGPT's assistance in syntax error here, because I had made this code in the previous thing, in the previous attempt, and well, if you look at the chat, you'll see the problem I had. I included the link here for it, for the chat. Here you go. Yeah, I imported NuGet packages of XUnit and MVC testing and stuff like that. I can actually show you that in a second. Here we go, NuGet manager. Here we go. Here we go, installed. Yeah, I installed these. Once it loads, here we go. I installed like these. Yeah, the authentication cookie one. But that actually came with this thing. Here we go. I installed it mock. I also did XUnit and XUnit runner. Uh, they made it a lot easier to run these unit tests and a lot simpler as well. Here we go. You can see that this is one of the three that went passing as well. You'll see why in a moment. Here you go. Sample data as well. Just make sure everything's working fine. So you can actually pass the test, because if it was left null without entered any some, you know, fake test data, it would have just failed instantly, as I'm sure you know. Here we go. Not too much going on here as well. This will just well, you can see here what it does. There you go. Yeah, okay. Sorry, not too much to explain there. I don't know what I did there to get rid of all those tabs. Okay. Here we go. This is my claim workflow. So just make sure that the submit and approve claims stuff work fine. It sets the, you know, sets these. Here we go. And then test helpers. Here you go. Yeah, used old code. That's why there's stuff like that. Again, more failing units here, but it's fine. Here we go. You can also see they return the variables here, so that they can be tested more easily. Okay. Now if I click on, here we go, run tests. 90 pass. There you go. You can see that 3 failures, like I mentioned. Both succeeded. Here we go. Yeah, like I said, it only ends up with 3 fails. I can expand upon that now. Yeah, it's gonna be these ones. Yeah, where we saw them earlier. But out of however many, shoot, I lost that. However many you saw there, I felt like it was a good ratio. Well enough to at least present the assignment, which I will now run for you. Yeah, should be fine. There you go. Now, if you look at my part 1, I originally had it as a purple and dark theme, but I just felt like that got to the point where it was unprofessional. It seemed. Now in part 3, like I'm just doing this for the example. In part 3, I'll actually make it so you have to select your role and register it and everything like that with the encryption. But we'll start with the lecturer. We submit a new claim. Let's say we're lecturer 1. We worked 5 hours at an hourly rate of 20. So when I made this assignment, I used a 2-string C. So it converted the decimal to a currency. However, it will appear as dollars because that automatically sets it to wherever the server is, and I'm using a virtual machine. So it will appear as, well, I assume dollars, but wherever the server is hosted, it appeared as dollars for me when I ran it. I could do a whole big thing where I change it to rand, but I just felt like it was a bit unnecessary. I'll put in, I don't know, test here. Actually, I'll do one without file and one with file as well. So you can see, you can view, you can see it's pending. Notice how while I'm logged in as a lecturer, I can't change this. I can't do anything. Okay, I can go back to the list. Now list T1. We'll say we're lecture 2. We worked 20 hours at an hourly rate of 50. And then we can say worked hard. Choose a file here. I'm using old files that I use as examples in a separate thing. So these are just text files. You can do PDFs, etc. That should work fine. Now, if you see, you won't see the file here. But if you go into views, you can see actions. You can say view document. Okay, now let's show you log out. Now let's say I want to be a coordinator. Program coordinator, log in. You see, I can't click it here, but if I go into view, I can write down a note. I'm gonna say very well done. Full stop. And I can approve the document. You'll see it's approved. And if I say here, I don't have to leave a note. I can just say reject. If you say here, you'll see it was reviewed by this. It was done at this date, this time, and it leaves the note as well. Now, if you look here as well, it says the submission date of the claim. You see there a minute apart, and you can see the document there. Back to the list, and we can log out. And that is my assignment. Thank you so much for listening or watching, I suppose. Thank you.